يا نفس إن لم تظفري لا تجزعي يا نفس إن لم
Suppose there is an object, an unidentified, maybe a flying object, which no one in the world has seen. No human being in the world knows about this object. If it's brought in front of you, and if you're asked that who will be the first person who will be able to tell you the mechanism of this unidentified object, you have to ask them the question. Who is the first person who will be able to tell you the mechanism of this new object which no one in the world has seen? After thinking for a while, he'll give the answer. The person who will be able to tell you the mechanism, the first person, is the creator of that object. Some may say manufacturer, some may say producer. Whatever they say, don't grapple with the word, accept it. It will be somewhat similar, either creator or producer or manufacturer. But remember what he has told you, keep it in your mind.
When you look at the world around you, to say that it has no design or no designer is beyond the capacity of the human intellect. That we look at everything based upon the meal, who gave it, who made it, who cooked it, the car, who makes it, the building, who built it. So the human mind, rather than using its intelligence that it thinks that it has to deny the creator, is supposed to use that information to prove and to show itself that there is a design to this. Now if somebody said, prove that there is a God, I'm telling you that you are the proof. You are the proof that there is a God, that there is a creator. You are the living proof of it. Everything that exists for the reason, and God says this in the Quran. In the Quran, Allah says, do you not look at what's around you? Do you not look inside of your own selves to realize that I exist? Is that not enough evidence for you? I've sent you prophets and messengers blazing with miracles. You have a Quran with you that is immaculate. You have the world around you. You have your body and how it's designed. You have all of these things that if your intellect were allowed to just go its own path and let it be used as God wanted to be used, your intellect would confer with that evidence I have given you. The problem is when the human being gets enough intelligence that they think themselves superior to everything else. This is the problem. When we allow our intelligence to make us greater than our own design, and we start trying to manipulate the world and the ideas of how it became through our own understanding of it. And that's just not the way it's supposed to be. You'll never understand this world. You'll never understand its intricacy. You'll never understand the complete anatomy of how the human body works. We just not. Our human brains are not going to allow us within our 90 to 100 years. Maybe the next people will add to it and other people will add to it, but we'll never fully comprehend it. We'll never fully comprehend what's out there in space and things of that nature. So that is part of the test.
How did the universe come into existence? How was it formed? So he will tell you by the Big Bang Theory. Tell him the Quran mentions in Surah Anbiya, chapter 21, verse number 30, about the Big Bang Theory. Who could have mentioned this in the Quran 1400 years ago? So he will tell you, maybe it's a fluke. Don't argue with him. Next part of the question. We did not know that the light of the moon is reflected light. We came to know recently. You ask him, he'll tell you, yes. The light of the moon is reflected light. It's not its own light. When we discovered, he will tell you recently, yesterday, 50 years back, 100 years back, yesterday in science. You tell him, the Quran mentions that the light of the moon is reflected light 1400 years ago. Who could have mentioned that? Maybe somebody had a wild guess. Don't argue with him. Continue. We thought the sun was stationary. You ask him, is it stationary? He'll say, no, it's rotating and revolving. When will you learn this? He will tell you yesterday, 50 years back, 100 years back. Quran mentions this 1400 years ago. He will hesitate, but may say, maybe some intelligent person wrote it. Don't argue with him. Continue. How was the universe initially? What is celestial matter? He will tell you, it was smoke. How did you come to know? We have got proof, we have got evidence. You tell him, Quran mentioned this 14 years ago. Who could have mentioned that? He will hesitate. Don't wait for response. Continue. Keep on posing question after question. That water cycle, how do we come to know about it? Quran mentioned 14 years ago. About every living thing made from water. Who could have mentioned that? Was one after the other and asked the question, who could have written that? Then you tell him that there is a theory known as theory of probability. That if you have two choices, out of which one is right, the chances that you will make the correct choice just at random is 1 in 2. For example, if I toss a coin, it can either be heads or tails. The chances that I'll be right will be 1 in 2. If I toss it twice, the chances that I'll be right both the times will be 1 upon 2 multiplied by 1 upon 2, that is 1 upon 4, 25% chance. If I toss it thrice, chances I'll be right all 3 times, 1 upon 2 multiplied by 1 upon 2 multiplied by 1 upon 2, it's 1 upon 8, 12.5%. This is called as theory of probability. If you ask, what is the shape of the earth? There are various shapes. Some may say it is flat, some may say it's triangular, some may say it is hexagonal, some may say pentagonal, some may say heptagonal, some may say square. Say there can be 10 shapes. The chances that if anyone makes a wild guess, it being correct is 1 upon 10. The light of the moon, it can either be its own light or it can be reflected light. The chances that you make a wild guess and it being correct will be 1 upon 2. The chances that both shape of the earth and light of the moon being reflected light, both being correct, if you make a wild guess, it will be 1 upon 10 multiplied by 1 upon 2, it is 1 upon 20. What can the living creatures be made of? Some may say sand, some may say stone, some may say aluminium, some may say gold, say 1,000 materials you can name. The chances that you make a wild guess and one of them being right, according to mathematics, is 1 upon 1,000. The chances that all 3 being correct, the earth is spherical, light of the moon is reflected light, and every living creature created from water is correct, will be 1 upon 10 multiplied by 1 upon 2 multiplied by 1 upon 1,000. Answer comes to 1 upon 20,000 or 0.005%. Quran speaks about scientific science more than 1,000 verses. In 3 verses, the answer comes to 0.05%. If you apply probability theory to all this being at random chance, it will come to 0, negligible. And in maths, anything 1 in 10 raised to 50, it's equal to 0. So you ask your atheist friend, who could have written this? The only answer he can give you is this first answer, the creator, the manufacturer, the person who has produced it. That's the only answer, there's no other answer. What science is saying today is they are not eliminating God. They are eliminating models of God. La ilaha illallah. They are not eliminating God, but models of God.
If somebody says, I want you to show me living proof that there is a God that exists, show it to me tangibly, I would tell you one thing right now. There is a book that does that very beautifully. There's a book that will give you all of the proof that you need. Pick up that one book called the Quran and read it. Read it. If you're sincere and you want to know the truth, you really want to know the truth, then go home tonight. Go by yourself. I don't care whether it's in your room or in your car or wherever it is. Make sure you're alone. And say these words. Even if you don't really mean them right, or you don't really believe them right now. You don't believe there's a God. Just say these words and mean it. Say, Creator. If there is a creator out there that created me, guide me to the truth. That's all you have to say. If there is a creator who created me, guide me to the truth. I do that as a Muslim at least minimum 17 times every single day in my prayers. I ask for guidance to the right path. If you say that sincerely, and you're really sincere about it, and you're willing to follow that path wherever it may go, you will find the truth. Because it says in the Quran that we guide those who will to walk upright. Whoever searches for our ways, we will guide them to our paths. So if you're sincere about that effort, go home and do that tonight. You won't be left wondering.
كل الذي